Yeah, so I'm probably just going to take it easy this weekend. No big major plans, no DIY projects coming up. I'm just going to chill out, relax with the family, and maybe just do a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, no, I'm going to renovate my bathroom. Yeah, yeah, I know. So renovating the bathroom this year was definitely not on my bingo card. I was completely fine with leaving it at the current way that it was, but unfortunately a plant got dropped on it and kind of broke the bath, and we need that for the kids. So I've done a little bit of plumbing work in the past, but I've never done anything to this caliber, especially never replaced a bathtub. So I was gonna have to learn a lot of this pretty much on the fly. I've never tiled before, so all of that was gonna have to take some figuring out. Starting this project was honestly the easiest part because all I had to do was gut the bathroom, and that I'm very familiar with doing. But when I finally pulled up the floor and realised just how close the water supply and drains were to the house mains electricity, kind of freaked me out, I won't lie. Especially considering when I actually turned the water off, it kept coming. Not the same flow and pressure, but enough to make it so the water never fully shut off. So I had to use paint trays to stop the water from going down into the breaker box. Like I said, I've only done a little bit of plumbing in the past, so most of this I was figuring out on the fly, but I am fairly familiar with the order of operations that things need to go to make sure that the house doesn't flood. So I'm just going to cut the audio out for this part and re-explain what I was talking about here. Basically, trying to get the drain pipe in was a bit of a nightmare, and it required a lot of cuts to make sure I got that angle right, to make sure it was actually draining outside of the house. I didn't honestly record any of this because it frustrated me to no end. But overall here you can see I'm fairly happy with the end result, and I think it turned out well. For some reason I didn't record much more of that, but I actually did put in a lot more blocking to support the joists because I don't want the bathtub filled with water and a person coming down into our kitchen. If I was to go back now after having done some tiling, honestly I probably wouldn't have used these kind of floors. I probably would have just stripped them all up and just tiled the entire bathroom floor. But this is what I went with, so this is what we have. I wouldn't mind, these things actually ended up costing more than the wall tiles as well for a single box. You can't really see it in the video, but doing these first tiles honestly was nerve-wracking because I'd never dealt with the stuff. I was covered, everything was covered, it was everywhere. And then I realized I was actually using the wrong clips. So the 11 clips that I was using had kind of a curve in them. And I don't believe they're for walls. So I ended up switching out to normal spacers, which you'll see in the video. Once I started getting into the rhythm of this, the tiles flew up in I think it was about 2 days. And now that I've done it this one time, I'd feel a lot more comfortable doing the tiling in the kitchen that's honestly needed to be done for about 2 years. Or is it 3? Might even be 3.5. All in all, I was very happy with how the tiles turned out in the end. And there was only a little bit of lippage in the end, so honestly I did without the lipping clips. Painting is my least favorite job on any project, so thankfully my wife gave me a hand with this one. So I was pretty happy with the tiles when they were finished, but putting the grout in, holy crap, it made such a difference to the general vibe in that room. It seriously made me feel like I could just do tiles for a living. Maybe not. Next was onto the bath. The bath we got didn't come with the holes pre-cut because you can choose obviously which kind of tap you're going to have. I went for this black one, which required cutting 4 holes. That weren't even identical sizes. And you had to silicone the insides of the holes as well, and then connect all the plumbing together. Honestly, all in all, it was pretty handy. Getting the bath into the bathroom was actually not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. But plumbing it in, because it went straight down to the ground, was honestly a bit of a nightmare. But once I was finished setting it up and got it turned on for the first time, could not have been happier. After that was just a matter of stripping up all of the tape that we put down to stop the paint from getting everywhere. A little bit of bleed out, but honestly, it's not the end of the world. I'll probably come back and fix that in the future, but I also probably won't. And after that, it was just a matter of putting all the decorations back into the bathroom, so my wife had a usable bathroom again. I also ended up changing the handles on the unit to black ones to kind of fit the aesthetic with the black taps and the bath and the sink. And once I peeled back all the tape and the cardboard from the floor, I finally stood back and looked at the room with all the decorations in there. Honestly, in the end, I couldn't even believe that I was the one who actually renovated this bathroom. I have such a habit of just not finishing projects fully through. Even this office, for example, I just never did this side. But the bathroom is actually finished. Sure, I still have to do the silicone. I need silicone the tap, I need silicone the bath and the sink. But honestly, it looks genuinely great. And so far from the builder-grade bathroom we used to have. But that's about it. It was about 3 days work in total, spread over about a week, just because I had to wait for parts to arrive and stuff. But honestly, if I had to, I would do this again. Despite never doing this kind of plumbing, never installing a bath, never tiling, having to strip out the old tile, fill in any unevenness, paint the entire bathroom. It was a lot, but honestly, so freaking worth it. So hopefully this video turned out well. Thanks for watching.